Well, that was good and bad. It was good in the sense that I found my queen. It's bad in the sense that I didn't sort my camera out. It went to sleep whilst filming. There must be a way of turning a camera off. I thought it would just carry on, but for some reason it only filmed for 10 minutes where I'm basically doing nothing at all, just lighting fires and what have you. And oh dear, essentially I had the most marvellous footage. I really wish I'm hoping it's on the GoPro, but I don't think I turned that on either. Well, what can I say? I'm a clot. It's a shame because on the video was everything I wanted to see. There were drones in there, there were brood that had been capped, they'd been making honey, they'd been drawing out comb. The colony has almost doubled in size, and it's quite magnificent. I'm sitting now without my headgear on and no gloves. They're not very pleased with me, the bees. And anyway, I found the queen. She had a lovely white spot on her. She was marked. Often they mark them. I think it's called the thorax, with a sort of ink, sort of paint. She had a white dot. That's magnificent. So I found my queen, which means that she's breeding, she's being fed, she's doing her job. I finished off by actually putting a queen excluder on in the end. I don't want to lose her now. And I've replaced the fondant, the baker's fondant, with some syrup. Because when the weather gets a bit warmer like this, apparently they go off the fondant and then you can get them onto the syrup. But I don't want to over honey the hive, because it's that time of year when there is plenty of food about. But I've put it on there principally to see if they bother with it. I'll remove it if they don't. They may have enough stores coming in, but I think the colony has, doubled, tripled in size, and it's a shame if I've lost the footage. But anyway, to today's sermon. Everybody needs a queen, or do they? Many years ago, I was at the Munster Victory Parade. I'd just gotten back from the Gulf War, in one piece, thank God, and we were all invited to go down to Munster for this parade, wherein there was a reception for the officers and their ladies. I didn't have a lady, sadly. I did not have a queen either. And what happened was, Prince Charles and Lady Diana were invited. And would you know it, I was introduced to both of them. So I can actually have the pleasure in saying to you today, I have actually met King Charles III and spoken with him. And I have met Lady Diana and spoken with her. Now the conversation with Lady Diana was pretty brief. She just wanted to know how the wives were coping with the husbands having been away at war and that sort of thing. And I have to say, she was jolly attractive. It was all I could do not to press my telephone number into her palm. But of course, being a man of God, and a very holy one at that, I decided against it. Then of course I was introduced to Charles. I didn't actually understand anything he said. He came up to me and we shook hands, and I bowed very majestically. And he went, "This is I speak when you keep it." He actually sounded like one of my bees. And with that, off he popped, buzzing away. Now, we all know that the coronation is coming up. Where are we now? Today is Bank Holiday Monday. Right, so he'll be coronated by this time next week. Yes, Saturday. I should be tuning in. I hope you will be. I've got a great video, by the way, coming up, asking whether Charles is a pagan. But I'm not going to release that till next week. But today I was really thinking about queenship. Because what is interesting is the Queen's consort, Camilla, is going to be coronated. She's going to be crowned at the same ceremony as King Charles. It's not a first, It didn't happen with Queen Elizabeth, but it did happen with the late Queen Mother. I think it was George VI at their coronation. They both got crowned, so I'm looking forward to that. And it got me thinking about bees in general, which is really why I wish I could have shown you the footage earlier. Anyway, within that hive, today's principal task was to find the queen. And find her I did, as I say, with a white spot. Because without a queen, a queenless colony, they go slightly berserk. And within the hive, if there is no queen, what they do is they create queen cells. And they're quite easy to spot. I thought I'd seen some queen cells in there, but they weren't. I think they were just honeycomb coming down. They may have been queen cells, in which case I'm going to squidge them. Might have to go in there again. They were dropping down from the one of the frames. So I have to watch that, because I don't want them to swarm. And they're pretty lively at the moment. Anyway, I think it was more comb going down than cells as such. But I'm going to double check that with my books when I get in. Point being, you don't want a queenless colony. Now, what happens is when this queen gets old, or she becomes infirm, or dies, or gets chased off, you will see the presence of queen cells, a number of them, and then they hatch, and they have a huge great punch up, and one queen is left standing. But she hasn't mated, and she'll fly off. She'll go from my hive there and off she'll fly to be mated. Now she may fornicate on a twig. If this queen is particularly acrobatic, she might even mate mid-air. Not something I would recommend. And then she'll come back and everybody's happy. One queen, all the bees will make a fuss of her, and she's in. Alternatively, what you can do is you can buy a mated queen. And they come in a sort of little capsule, an aerated capsule, and they have attendants. So lovely. They have ladies in waiting. They have these other bees, these ladies in waiting. And they're in the little capsule, and the capsule is sealed with fondant, which takes some while to eat through. And so what you do is you put your queen in there, and that gives the other bees time to get used to her pheromones, get used to her smell. And so you don't quite take the cap off the end just yet, but within 7 days you take the cap off, and then you let her eat her way through, and by the time they've done all that, the colony should accept her. Now, of course, the colony of Great Britain had a great amount of time to try and get used to the idea of Camilla as queen, because Princess Di, who I met, you know, she died. I remember when she did die, because I'd caught it on the wireless fairly early before Mass, so it must have been a Sunday, and most of the congregation didn't know that she'd died. So I remember giving an announcement out after Mass, and there was this huge intake of breath, and people couldn't quite take it in, and I must say I was quite shocked and visibly shaken. Such was the effect of Lady Diane on the nation, and and she was loved and exceptionally popular, and a lovely lady, having met her. Now, of course, everybody knew about Camilla, and he went on to marry Camilla. But you see, people still were in love with Diane, so it took the nation quite a bit of time, a little like the bee, the queen bee in my hive. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the smell of Camilla. What a thought. And I think we have now finally got used to her, and perhaps taken to her. And so the king has now found his queen. I have found my queen. I look forward to the coronation. I look forward to them both being crowned, and I will see you on the next video, and I will let you know when my next video on King Charles is up. So God bless, take care. I'm sorry I couldn't bring you all the footage I wanted to, but I promise. Sorry I couldn't bring you better and more footage, but there we go. That's just the life of somebody who tries to create film. I've got loads of bees buzzing around me. I've got no gloves on. I've taken my headdress thing off so I can get off. Sorry about that. I'm back. Ugh. Right, I'm going to sit here. Like, hopefully they'll keep off my head. It's because I'm sitting, but they're really active at the moment. They're really going for it. So I'll see you on another video. God bless. Do watch my video next week. Is Charles a pagan? And I'll catch up with you soon.